Hello everybody, yes, we are back again. Excuse me, yeah, we continue where we left, yes, last week. And what I'm doing now, which is also nice to do if you produce music, to give the track and the parts the right name. So here you see Go to X is in the start of this little piece. So you see here the modulation wheel controls the filter. So I also need to start on the right point to make that the filter is closed. You see here's the modulation wheel. Then you got the sequence, which is Go to X. And here you see that it closes down or or opens the modulation wheel, or closes it. Yeah, it closes it, of course. So here's the modulation wheel. And here you see I have two different colors, but there I did try to have a bit variation with the sequence, but after all, I didn't like it. So it's too much of a pause there. Of course, maybe it can fit on another piece, so I just move it around and keep this one as it is by Control D. And now it pops it back again. So that was what I was doing. I started, and actually it started as a minimal house, but it's going anywhere. But it's about having fun with these synthesizers, and as mentioned, last week we did this on Wednesday and the week ahead of that. So if you would watch the last two live streams ahead of this one, you could see how things evolve. And you see this was essentially the very first preset. The only thing what I did is having a modulation wheel, and then I switch off here a few steps. And then you see you have a very nice sound that fits nice. And then I also had the sub-boom bass. That was also a default preset, and that one is totally dry. It's also using a sequence. Very basic. You see here, up here, it's just mentioned default. It's a bit soft. Why is it still soft? Put the volume on 0. And of course I can change the volume here. It's totally dry. You see no FX. There are 2 FX in sub-boom bass, but nothing is playing. You could have a chorus, but that's also makes it more swirly. Could be interesting, but not always works. So it's not a problem to maybe have instruments totally dry. So it takes its own spot, and if it's because it's so dry, it combines nice with sounds which are very deep in the reverb or delay. Then you have this contrast feel, you see? So let me play it again from the start. Only the sub-boom bass with go to X. Okay, now I did something wrong. I gave the wrong one. Solo should be like this. Okay, again. So you have the dry bass. And you go to X. If my volume of the vocal is too loud, let me know, because I have it very loud on my earrings compared to my music, but maybe for the stream it's good enough. You see the bass is dry, and go to X has a spacey sounds with delay. So, and then we expanded and added also Predator 3, which was a sound from scratch. And now I put off the solo, and let's play Predator 3, which was also a default preset, but also here I use the modulation wheel. Only the modulation wheel not only controls, you see, default preset. It's not only controlling the filter up here, but also the second, the high pass filter and the FX. So it controls the FX mix and the feedback. So let me see if I can play that solo for you by simply muting the drums. Let's mute the drums. Sub-boom bass. So what you hear now is essentially sub-boom bass, go to X, and then Predator. It's very minimal. And here you see the modulation wheel, which kicks in for Predator 3. And watch what happens to Predator 3. So it opens the filter cutoff frequency, which is controlled here. Modulation wheel controls the cutoff, and then the mod matrix. You have 3 connections of the mod wheel to the high pass filter, FX mix, and FX1 feedback. Of course, we have drums. A bit spacey music. Okay, and so you see there essentially are 2 default presets which I tweak pretty fast. There's one preset, and then what we also did is using quad, and by accident it's called ARP tripod. It it's simply fitted. So that's this sounds, and sometimes it happens you scroll through the sounds, and if it fits, it fits. Don't make life overcomplicated if things are good. So this is the quad sound. So it is more a mix of a minimal type of thing combined with synthesizer music, but that's because of my roots. I'm pretty easy drop into that kind of style, but it's nice. So the quad is playing here. So we talked about the arrangement. So you see, I already did mute stuff to build up things. I was not happy about the snare. I'm still not happy about the snare. Which kicks in here, but you see here I muted already some stuff to build things up. So quad comes in here, and you see once quad comes in, the Go 2X is muted. So that gives also in your arrangement, if you mute things, it gives the other stuff which is playing, gives it air. So what I also played is here a theme, which is Blue 3, which is a bit of type of Fairlight type of vocal sound. It's called Cold Alaska Sweep from Blue 3. So that kicks in here, and then the Go 2X is gone, closes, you see? And you hear the quad, maybe a bit louder. Strings. So personally, I would miss something here. So where Go 2X is not playing, we could do something extra. But before we do that, so let me save this one. I save it on the date. Is that we today, we did send the newsletter, and Synfax is now compatible to Complete Control. So if you open Complete Control, this is the newer version they have. They have more now that you can, you see all the products which are in my Anchor system. And you see Raw 2 working on Raw 2 as well for making it compatible to Anchors. But that's not ready because I need to check all the taggings. So that's a bit of work. But Synfax is already available. So if you click once on Synfax, it shows on the right hand side the banks. And then the way it works is like this, you see, click here, the library, Synfax. Here you can select then the different banks. So I could say low drops, and then you can click and you have an audition. But you also can double click this preset and then it opens. And you see then it opens in Complete Control or Machine, and then you have up here this little circle thing, the option to have the parameter layout. And you see my keyboard. Let me see if I can show you with my webcam, the extra webcam. You see this is the MK3 keyboard, and then it shows the, I'm not sure if you can see it because of the reflection of the LCD display, but then yeah, it appears as well. And then you can change here the dials. So you see my hand here over the dials. So if you look in the upper left corner, if I play this preset, I can go to the left, and then it changes with the first dial the movement. Or you go down up. So there's a range of parameters laid out. I hope the volume is not too loud for you guys, but If it's the case, let me know. Now here you can go up down in presets. So don't use then this one. If you use this the MCAS system, you need to go up here with changing the preset because you select MCAS presets. I'm not sure what this one is. Okay, this is something else, and this one is the menu. So if you want to go to a different bank, you need to click on the library again, and then you can pick here from a different bank another affix. So we had diverse affix. Double click and it loads in the preset. So the first dial controls the movement. You can change it. Can change the speed of it, the pitch. So this one changes the waveform pitch amount. So you can do some cool weird stuff. It's a very long sound. It's 4 bars, so I should go with the speed, let's say, to 1 bar. Then the second page, you get also filter setting, but also the LFO, or you can change the speed. Yeah, I'm checking the chat room. Yeah, the MK 3 has a little bit bigger screen, so it's a bit deeper, and it has also polyphonic aftertouch. The only disadvantage is if you once set it to polyphonic aftertouch, you need to switch it back to monophonic aftertouch. If the preset is monophonic aftertouch, it's of course working one way or the other, which is normally, I think, a logical thing, but it has a polyphonic aftertouch, but you need to adapt the presets to it, of course, and make that the polyphonic aftertouch does something. Of course, all our products work with polyphonic aftertouch, so that's good. And what they also have, the ribbon controller is now in a different position in the MK2, which I still have here in my studio. It was on the lowest part below the pitch wheel and the mod wheel, and sometimes you hit it by accident, and that could be sometimes a bit of irritating. So they moved it up, but in terms of quality, it's the same quality as the MK2. So very nice. Of course, they added also some other options for us as designers with the dials. You can also pick different readouts, although the difference is not that much. If you, for instance, with wave, you could see indeed a wave. The big screen, yeah. So many new features inside of it, and very nice keyboard, and so Synfax, if you have a MK 1, 2, or 3 keyboard or machine, you can use Synfax now. So the next page we have then also, you can put off the modulation FX, delay, shorter. I need to get it to 0. Yeah. Then there is no feedback. You got also negative feedback with our plugins. And then, of course, we have on the next page also the reverb and all bypass, which then shuts off all the dry or with a fix. Yeah, they also have an 88 keyboard version, which is piano touch. So if you're used to piano touch, that one is an option for the piano players here. I'm more used to the keyboardy synth keyboards in my way of playing. So what you can do if you have Synfax, we also solved a few minor bugs where you might not noticed it, but to update your Synfax, you simply go to this little menu in this corner. You click on that one and you go down, and it does mention download latest. And if you have an older version, it will pop up. And it will start downloading. And of course, don't forget to close your music program and then run the installer. In normal cases, Complete Control will see that something new is popping up, and otherwise you need to go into the edit and then preferences, and then you can rescan the plugin, and then it will pop up. Okay. So that's the news. So RAW is in progress. So down here you can see RAW 2. You see all the presets. So I even can load it, and you see it's a little bit bigger. This is the big screen version. So then if you use Complete Control, I would advise not to use the 150%, but the 125% or 100%, because otherwise because you have this parameter layout in the top section. You can shut it off, of course, but then it takes a lot of room here. So, and you see also here we have more than 8 pages for controlling RAW 2. Once we release it, you can also do a lot of editing. For instance, the RAW amount you can adjust. And you see there's a little bug because it doesn't change the dial, but it changes the outer ring, so that's something we need to fix. So that's in progress. So let me shut it down now, and let's see what the chat room has to say. Okay. Everybody welcome. Yeah, last week we had the live stream on Wednesday because I had an appointment on Thursday, which I could not move. What are the improvements in RG? Yeah, RG has also different user interface sizes. So that's the biggest change for RG. So, and also here you need to, of course, to go to the upper menu, which is inside RG, but no other things are added to RG. So it has different. Yeah, 150% in Complete Control is too big in viewing. Yes, 125 or 100 will do the job. Okay, so RG, that's also what we updated in the Explore 10, has then 100%, 125, 150, and 200% sizes. Okay, let me see. In the chat room, I think I'm answer most of the questions. Yeah, and of course, what we mentioned also in the newsletter, we work on a new synthesizer. Different concept. It's yeah, it's an interesting concept we have. Yeah, we hope to have it in June. We're working hard on it. We're already doing the graphics. Will be a bit similar, the graphics on Synfax. So Synfax has the concept of a LCD screen. So you have a frame, the outer frame in Synfax. Okay, let me open it again. So let's go back again to Synfax. Click once on Synfax. Don't double click here because I did made this mistake double clicking here, but then so it looks like Synfax. This one is an outer board, is like a real hardware, but the inner part, this is all LCD, so it mimics an LCD display. Okay, so what we were doing the last 2 weeks were simply having fun and simply do some music. So let's do something else now. Let's take a bit 2, open bit 2. Let's see if we go there to a default preset. I put it here in this one, default. Where are you? Oh, new preset. Should also do the job, isn't it? So what I mentioned, we were making a kind of composition, just playing around with it. And until here, I even played the solo at the end, I believe. So let's play it again. And then I had this feeling where you see where I did shut down, go to X, and quad came in, that I still missed something. So the snare should be maybe okay now. So let's play it from the start. And that's also why you create music. That's what I mentioned last time. You hear your own tracks trillion times. So it's normal that you think, oh, it's getting boring. But you need a second chair next to you. And that chair next to you called producer. And then you say, okay, I'm listening. I'm the producer, and I pretend I'm just somebody listening to the music, instead of you ask the music creator. So, and that's a whole different position, because you need to give people who listen to music also the time to adapt to music, to receive the music. And if you're producing music, you hear your own song while in production trillion times, and then you think, oh, here it's boring, there's boring, I need to do there's something. And then it's pretty easy to overkill. So that's what I've learned. Try to sometimes by simply muting things, and sometimes you think, hey, this is nice. It gives really a breath of air to the track. So there's no pretension with this track. This is just for the fun. Yeah, you get my point. Here I would expect something. So I just will try to do something with bit 2, and for the same reason, it could be totally a waste of energy, but why not give it a try? So play manually something. It's an A minor. Oops. Okay, let me quantize this. So this is a simply something I played. Now let's make it minimal stuff. So I take this as a bass, so it's a silly. I drag it here and then I need to. So I copy it over and now I start editing and see what happens. Panel. See if we can do some symmetry modulation. Okay. So Rob is now lost the start point. Yeah, that's of course we can use cycle. Let's see. Not bad. So I'm just playing around. So that will be an option. So don't listen to the musical content because I'm just playing around. Maybe a phaser. It's too bassy. Second filter, high pass filter to make it a little bit thinner. Otherwise it pushes everything. I'm not sure if it's fully okay, but that's, of course, that's today is the plan. So in the whole process in the live stream, it's about what you could do with the synths. So this is again a sound from scratch. I give it a slow attack. Slow attack. And maybe the delays a little bit. Mono, now it's a mono delay, and that's better than the stereo delay. So sometimes a little that's better. So mono delay. And you even could try, what I also would try, but that would take maybe a little bit too much time. So this is the sound. Now go to cycle, and sometimes what I do, I play this groove. It's very monophonic. It's really a simple sequence, but sometimes if you hit a few different notes, you can make some nice variations. And then mostly I do this within one block. And that's cool with editing. Sometimes you can do some using Alt and see what happens. Sometimes it's nothing. So it's a little difference, isn't it? Just by moving one note. So to make this thing more interesting, you also could go to the second part, which so I copy this one and I glue it together. Hopefully you can see it now. It plays 4 times, and I try to make the last one a bit different again. So you see now it's 4 times, but just a little bit different, just by changing one note in this whole sequence. That makes it a little bit more magic. So what I need to do here is then copy this one again. And I made it shut down once it hit. So let's see how it now combines. So for the same reason, still is not fully what I wanted to hope, but so let's see what we have until now. So the idea was to make a kind of minimal house track. But yeah, it can go any direction. So it has at the end a little bit of synth music influences, which is Logic. No, it's Cubase. Sometimes you can have some vocal things going on here. Would be maybe nice, but for now. I don't like it. So maybe solo it sounds okay, but I don't know. Tweaking a little bit. I think that's better. So you see, what I do is changing simply the ADSR of the sound here, the attack, decay, sustain, and release. So instead of a slow attack, it has now very punchy sound. Silence. Of course, that was where we ended last week. Yeah, you even could use this in a film score, because in a film score not always has to be full action, or sometimes it's minimal. So yeah, I'm not sure what style it is. I think it's a combination of kind of minimal house, electronic. It's electronic music. Let's keep it as electronic music. So the snare, I was not clear about the snare, so, oh yeah, let me save it. That's a good idea, Rob. We had, of course, the case more than 1 year ago that I started doing in German Berlin school track, and then it started so nice that in the end I finished this track, and then made it a track on my album. So yeah, sometimes and that's the fun part. So, and that's also, sometimes you simply start doing things, don't think too much, have fun, mute things, and then suddenly you get into a song. Yeah, it's definitely minimal style. So I see that Steven said we could use maybe on the bass XY transfer. Yeah, that's an idea. That's long ago that I played with that one. So let me see. I need to open the mixer. Okay. Where is the mixer? Where are you, baby? Ah, here it is. Let's see where the bass is. That's this one. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see where it is. Good one. Other XY transfer. I think that should be. Where are you, baby? And modulation. Did I not install it yet? Yeah, it should be inside of it. That's a good one. And delay? No. And distortions. Oh, where is it? Good one, Steven. I need to find it. It has been some time ago that I used it. Nope. I would expect it in modulation. Not sure why I don't see it. So, typical studio thing going on. Also here in my studio, guys. By the way, you see this webcam, it's kind of magic. It's working again. So I had in the past this extension cable, and the USB extension cable, that's all crap. So that didn't work. It made the resolution go down, and now I plugged it with the original cable pretty much in the USB hub, and now it works, and the screen is okay. That's weird, isn't it? So you have my keyboard again, only the problem is I cannot have it over my head. So here it is, you see, there. That's a little, I need to maybe mount something on my roof or on my ceiling to get the keyboard. So everybody, welcome for the late in the chat room. Yeah, and then you see I used raw here, but that's one of the new presets. So we're working on raw, making it NCAS. We also have created some new presets, and this is a very nice guitar sounds I made. So deep, the guitar cannot go so deep. So these will be in the edge leads once we release Raw 2 with NCAS support. There will be some new presets. So I played it here in this part. Cuts through, very nice. And yeah, you see there's also I play some high strings. So this is Selena with pat. It's a big pat sound. So also nice for just playing a few notes. So pats not always mean that you need to play 20 notes at once, but sometimes. Yeah, good, Johan, adding some syntax to it. Yeah, definitely. So add track, instrument. You could pick then now, for instance, maybe it's not, maybe a bit. Well, let me see. Here is the manager. I love to use the. No. It's a bit loud, isn't it? Makes you everybody wake up now. And that's depends. Here, got this one. That one is badly timed. And of course, this is just one bar, but if I move this one to... Okay, I moved it now to bar. And then it's just the look, open it. Then what you could do, and that's cool from Synfax, you see, oh, it's only one bar, and up is that you, so let's play it now. Let's go back. So you get this. look here. That's weird. That has to do with the memory. Ah, now it is here, the noise. It did not load the... So what you could do now, if you want to have this one up and then going down, I could say, instead of 1 bar, I make it 2 bars. So the speed slower, which means that it goes up and down. And I start, of course, here. So then it goes up and down. Watch it. So that's cool. And make it even go wild stereo. So that's the things which you can do with Synfax. So originally it was 1 bar. So it was 1 bar for before the part started. I made it 2 bars so that I also can have this one. You can even snap to a time setting. So if I set 4, or let's say 8, I can make it even the case, because it's tempo based, that I make it like this. Would not fit musically, but you have a different sound. Yeah, well, a good question. DJ production to run the that's the cool thing. What you can do now with today's music programs is that you can mute stuff, and that's also something you need to do. So you very often have little parts, especially with this type of sequence music where a lot of sequences are working. That is a good thing to mute stuff. To make not the whole song cluttered, but that's also a way to keep it without keeping it too complex. And keep in mind, sometimes a piece of music sounds better with 8 tracks than with 64 tracks, because yeah, you can overproduce something. So you see here, when Go 2X stops playing, bit 2 starts playing. So that's one way in terms of arrangement how you can open a whole song, give it really a different vibe. Instead of a stapling, or you call it stacking on, then it's too much. So give it air, breathe. That's my advice. At least that's how I approach it. So if I would play now, Go to X solo. Let me see if I can go to X solo with its modulation wheel and the bit 2. So this one takes over from this moment where it's a new piece in the music. So even if I combine it now with the other ones. And what I see now, quad is also playing. Of course, it's pretty minimal, but so with quad I also could do something. So let's see if I go back here on mute solo and play it here. I could see with bit maybe to mute it here as well and pick it later on in the song. So I see I'll play around here if things work. So here I would expect maybe something more, maybe a weirder TB3 or 3 stuff. So it's not about the quality of this piece of music. It's about how I approach things. So here you see, because Squad was also playing, and I muted it here because I thought, yeah, that's better. And here's bit 2, it's muted while the strings plays, and here it plays again once the melody plays. So bit 2 is nice with the melody, but with the strings, it's not that nice. And there's go to X again nice. So it's the combination. So you see how it builds up. So I was forgetting that Quad was playing here. And that's a good thing if you create music, or if it's little blocks, it's easy to mute things. And sometimes it's a day later that you maybe think, okay, let's listen to the track and let's do this here, mute. I mean, it's easy to unmute again. So very often you run into a much better build-up. Okay, let me check the chat room. Oh, we're almost an hour. So here I would say here on the last thing where the solo plays, we could maybe have a nice, nasty synth sound. Let me see, save. I need to save that one, of course, because it builds up nicely. And it's today more about having fun with the instruments. And I just show how I approach music creation. Of course, for everybody it's different, but I think in general, some tips and tricks which I mentioned today is maybe useful for you. So add syntax, let me see, because I want to have some dirty Predator 3 sounds. Add, oh. And then I go to a preset, because maybe I know a preset which would nice. So let's see how this one plays, if it has a bit much low end, but let's just give it a try. Sometimes a preset works. Sometimes you need to adapt a little bit, but let's give it a try. Yeah, it could work. It's a bit much low end, so let's record it. Maybe there, so it has a lot of low end, maybe then the sub bass can be shut down. Yeah, it could be something. So it's just one preset. Sometimes if the preset is good, if it works, it works. So, but what I did shut down is the bass here. And then Predator 3 was a pretty bassy sound, so that takes over the bass at that moment, and then maybe if then the song continues, you sub on bass, that was the bass, let's see what happens. Passes out. Could be an option, of course. Yeah, guys. So let's keep it for today, this one. So it builds up, it builds up. If it's going to be something, it doesn't matter. We're having fun with it. So that's the important thing. If you create music, save your song and have fun. That's very important. Yeah, people agree with the yeah, less is more. Definitely music. It is a good rule. So guys, let's go out with another song by Tom Aldrich. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Place a comment if you like below the YouTube video. Watch the video about Synfax and being Anker-S compatible now. And we go out with a song called 2053 by Tom Aldrich. So I would say enjoy it, and we catch up next week. Stay safe and enjoy creating music.